Okay. All our feet, you, it's the touchline sessions. It's your boy Civile, and I'm not alone.
Yes, Mafetu, Bomi over here. And of course, as Civil has already said, we are not alone. We have a distinguished guest here with us, Endishinye, to number 6, wait, pastor, husband, father, coach, and yeah, and many more, an author as well. Yeah. Pastor Lungi, how's it?
Yes. No, thanks, guys. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yes.
It's long overdue, but yeah.
So yeah, before we get into our segment, Fundis, I'd just like you to share with our family Uguti, who you are and how did you get to this point?
Which point?
You of you being a football coach and yeah.
Okay. No, once again, guys, as I said, thanks for having me. Just I'm a bit confused why they're referring me to pastor because I'm not here in that capacity today. I'm here in my capacity. I'm here in my capacity as a coach. So I'm Coach Lungi. That's how. Well, my name is Lungi, but I'm fondly known as Coach Lungi because of my ambition for coaching. A journey that I entered unplanned. I never planned to be a coach. My initial ambition was to become a business tycoon and own a football club, in which I started, of course. I built this football club called Ekurhuleni Stars, and little did I know that's what will lead into coaching. I owned the club, but it was just losing week after week and with very embarrassing score lines,
You thought you could do this yourself.
Yeah, and I thought, no, man, let me try this thing out myself. Maybe I can do better. And I decided to try it myself.
Okay. Sorry to cut you short. What's the most embarrassing scoreline you got? Let me start.
8. Okay, I think this needs explanation because it's 18. Were you there? Remember?
No, I was not there.
No, you were there, man.
18.
We lost 18-0, and I also played in that game.
That was 17, but
17.
that was not Stars, remember. That was Spurs. Yakhumbula ngithi uqale as Stars and then yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. The first season I was not there. I was not part of it.
Oh.
I came later on,
Yes. Mid-season,
in fact, yeah.
Yeah, but that's 17.
17, yeah.
17,
0. Yeah.
I think the score was 6-0 or something when I came on from the bench, and I thought I was going there to fix things. And when I went on, things got worse. Yeah, things got worse. Eventually, then I decided that let me try this thing out myself in 2018. And there's this team that we played with at Boxburg Stadium. I think there was a PSL player there, and we played a friendly with them. We drew 2-2. Then we went to an Easter tournament, and we made it through. We made it out of the group stage, but in the last 16, we got beaten 4-0 by the Jamestown Destroyers. And I remember standing on the touchline with no clue what to do next to try and sort the situation out. But I never gave up. I said, we'll keep on trying. We're at LFA level. We trained, we played. And little did I know that the first game we won. What was the scoreline again?
9-0.
9-0. And I think the second game was 12-1.
From getting those scorelines to giving them.
To giving them. Now
as a coach.
I'm a coach. And thank God that I never again tried to go on the field and fix things. Let's fix things from the touchline.
Yeah,
but then from there on, I never looked back.
Currently, you are coach at the Katuras Hyper.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, newly appointed under 19 coach at Katuras Hyper Academy. They play in the Gauteng Development League, more known as the GDL.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's what I'm coaching at the moment.
Now, folks, please do keep an eye on that, on Katuras Hyper, how they are doing. And one thing that we can be sure of, they will be competing.
Most definitely. No, that anything below or outside of the top 3 would be failure for me. I don't accept low standards. They will be competitive. That you can be rest assured. I can't come sit here in the first season and say I'll win the league. You need to respect other teams and what they're doing, but we'll compete. That's a promise. We'll compete.
Yeah. Tembelo, Tembelo, Coach Lungi. Mm, Today, like this episode was
Yeah, enough
definitely
enough about
yeah.
Coach Lungi now. Enough about
Yeah,
Coach
no,
Lungi.
yeah. Let's do what I came here for.
Yeah, we are looking at the PSL, the DStv Premiership in hindsight, and reflecting with you which are the teams that surprised us this season, and the players, also the players that surprised us, coaches and all that. So like it's basically a reflection with you, yeah, how does the season go from the beginning till now, December? Because we believe as football fans, Guti, the real season is yet to start. It's starting when January. So yeah, like it's in the DStv Premiership. Yo, young Chinese, I don't know. How can a team play 11 games and still be on top? And then we have other teams that already played 15 when this. So wow, I want your comment on that. Like, what do you think about the Downs and their superiority and all that?
No, definitely. Sundowns have reduced our league to what most people call a farmers league. That's what they've done. But others choose to say it in a negative sense, but I say it in a positive sense, in a way that they are pushing teams to up their level.
Mm.
They are pushing teams to start doing things right. Because what Sundowns are doing, it's more than just throwing money at football. Sundowns is, from a management perspective, it's a football club that is being run properly. They have a board. It's not a club that's run like someone is running their personal spaza shop. It's a club that's being run properly. They have a board. I mean, you go to the point of looking at their international scouts. Sundowns is scouting quality players. Even when they go to South America, they don't just go there with the mindset that because you are South American, you will come to the PSL and win.
Yeah,
They are bringing quality South American players. So from that perspective, also from management to scouting, and of course to their coach, whom I think is the best coach in the country by far, and definitely one of the best, if not also the best on the continent. So before we can even talk about money, it's about how Sundowns are doing things right from outside of the field. They are doing things right, and then and that comes down to coaching. It comes down to the players. It comes down to the rest of the technical stuff, and it becomes a philosophy and a culture of the entire organization to do things right. And as a result, I'm not saying that other clubs are not doing things right, but I'm just saying that Sundowns have set a very high standard in comparison to other clubs, and they must just up the game.
Yeah, I want to ask you this for this as a coach. How do you deal with having like a lot of players? Apparently, they have a lot of quality players. So Sundowns have this tendency of rotating the squad, and when they do so, they still win games. So isn't game time important? So how, I don't know, how do they manage this? I see Man City are also used to do it. Like when a player is coming on, when they are replacing another player, they get there, they play their socks off as if they're always playing, they always had the minutes. How do you think they get that? How do you think the players are managing to do that? Like being on the bench most of the season, and then when called upon, you're doing it right the whole time.
No, I think that comes from being an exceptional coach, and that's what I think about Coach Rolani. I think he's exceptional because it takes a good coach to make a player who is sitting on the bench to feel as valuable to the club as the player who's in the starting 11 week in, week out.
I like that.
Yeah, so I think that's what Coach Rolani has mastered, which of course it takes it from his idol.
How do you do? How do you?
It's from my opinion, or from where I'm sitting and watching from the outside, I think it comes number one with a lot of conversations with the players. If you look at Coach Rolani in his post or pre-match interviews, he never speaks about himself. He's constantly speaking about the squad. He's constantly praising the squad, and that's number one. But number two, even when you hear about how they talk about him, that I heard one of the Sundowns players saying that sometimes Coach Rulani will send you a text at 3
At
a.m. in
3
the morning,
a.m. Yeah.
you know, and he does that with the entire squad. So if I'm a player and I'm on the bench and I'm getting a text at 3 a.m. in the morning to look at that video or to do whatever, it tells me that I'm important to the club. And once a player feels important, even if he comes and plays after 8 or 10 matches, they are more likely to perform well because they feel valued. You know, so in most cases, once players are sitting on the bench consecutively or for consecutive games, then they start sulking, they start feeling like they are not integral to the team, and that begins to affect performance. So I think the most contributing factor to this rotation without compromising quality and results is the fact that players feel valued, regardless of they are part of the starting 11
or
or
not.
not.
Yeah. Now I think you've encapsulated it very well, Mfundisi, coach. Yeah, I'll keep on referring to you as Mfundisi as you are a pastor.
Yes.
So we've mentioned Sundowns, obviously title contenders, but then as Usivile mentioned earlier on, that they are at the top, they are still remaining at the top, having played way less games than their competitors in the likes of SuperSport United and Orlando Pirates. What do you think that Matsatsansa and the Buccaneers, what do you think that they have not been doing well, and how do you think they should improve going forward?
Sure. I think when you look at the quality of the Sundowns playing personnel, that is the biggest difference between Mamelodi Sundowns, SuperSport, Orlando Pirates, Cape Town City, Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
Because for me, those are the closest contenders.
Yeah.
You know, I think the quality of the playing personnel, as Sevilla said, that it doesn't matter who they bring on from the bench, that person is still going to deliver. So I think that is the biggest difference. And when we look, I know we're still talking about the PSL, but if we can just take an example from the Premier League, when you look at what Aston Villa are doing, that's what these other clubs, the chasing pack in the PSL need to do.
Yeah.
You know, you look at the work rate of Aston Villa. You look at how well drilled those players are, you know, because in terms of quality, Aston Villa is not even supposed to be competing with Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham. But how do you compensate for the gap of quality between you and those you are competing with? Number one is obviously you need a coach who can drill their players very, very well. And that's what's happening at Aston Villa. You know, you need to go beyond the average, beyond the normal, beyond the good, because you are trying to close a gap that exists that can't be closed down any other way. And then secondly, is you need players who will understand that you cannot compromise on hard work. I mean, I look at Aston Villa and you look at they will outrun you. They will. I remember their match against Man City. You know, they would make 2, 3, 4 touches and already in the final third of Manchester City. That speaks to crazy, insane work rate. So that's what we need to, or rather, that's what the clubs, the chasing pack, need to do. And I think it's no surprise that you see SuperSport where they are on the log standings. It's no surprise that you see Stellenbosch where they are on the log standings. Because for me, these are two teams that, when you look at the intensity with which they play, when you look at the hard work, I mean, you know, Coach Gavin Hunt, he will never tolerate anything below hard work.
Yeah, he's very demanding.
He's very demanding.
Yeah.
He's a disciplinarian. And I think for me, those qualities are what is assisting him to try and close that gap. Well, not close it, but reduce it, because I don't think they can close it. You know, I honestly think Sundowns will still win the league for the next 5 seasons or so. Because the gap is too much.
Yeah.
Unless because we know the richest man in South Africa is the owner of Stellenbosch. Unless he starts opening the checkbook and
pumping
in money to close the gap of the quality of players. Then, yeah.
But do you think the argument that we've been hearing concerning Sundowns, that they often destabilize their competition by going after their best players. Do you think that argument has any validity to it?
It's yes and no.
Okay.
It's yes in a sense that because I remember that argument, it gained a lot of traction when Sundown signed George
George
Maluleka.
Maluleka from the Kaiser Chiefs.
When Chiefs seemed like they are on route to win the league, to winning the league, and that argument became even more reinforced. So I'm saying yes in the sense that um, just to be just to differ with popular opinion, yes, in a sense that if they did it, there's nothing wrong. I don't see anything wrong with that because that's business. We must appreciate the fact that football is business, and if you can find a way to destabilize the competition, as long as it's ethical, as long as it's legal, there's nothing wrong with it. So we need fans to stop whining and complaining and understanding that this is business. So in that sense, if they're doing it, I want to say it's okay. Let them do it because they're running a business. If I'm running a business and you are running a business and you are running a business and you guys are my competitors, if I can find a way to destabilize you space and because you don't need them, they might not play and they might become a cancer in an environment that was filled with positivity. And now he's surprised that why did you sign me, but you're not playing me? And they might start depending on their own maturity they might start being problematic in the dressing room, so it can go both ways, but the most important thing is if Sundowns is doing that, there's nothing wrong with it.
Is it a surprise, Guti, we are seeing Kaiser Chiefs where they are right now, table on the log?
In my opinion, I don't think so. I don't think it's much of a surprise. You look at the Kaiser Chiefs and you look at how they've been doing their business, in recent years. The coaches that they've been chopping and changing, and you look at the reasons. I don't think Guti there is any validity to much of the changes that they've been doing. We can start from Ernst Menendor. He was doing well, and because of outside pressure, he was shown the door. Why? Okay, in my opinion, it was outside pressure. But if someone can give me an alternative argument, I'd like to hear it. I'd like to hear it. And Kevin Hunt as well. He came in, he did okay. In my opinion, and he took the team to the final. He was also shown the door. And you look at the resume, yaga Kevin Hunt. It's not a Mickey Mouse coach, Kevin Hunt. And he's a person that is set in his ways. So I think Uguti also a difference in opinion between the hierarchy, the upper hierarchy, Kaiser Chiefs, and the coaching staff. Now it is a problem.
Now, speaking of quality and signing Nanani, Chiefs are competing with the Downs because they have the resources. They've been bringing in players now from South America, Castillo, which is in my opinion, a good player, a great player, Castillo. So you have resources, you have the players. Like I don't know, bro. Because if they can make it into the top 4 this season, it's going to be a miracle. What's the problem, Pastor Makabanga, Kaiser Chiefs? What's happening? Because it's surprising. Kaiser Chiefs fans right now, they are super frustrated. They are so inconsistent. Sometimes they win. Okay, right now I think their last 3 they won. Better.
On a good vein of form at the moment.
Yeah, better.
No, I think, in my opinion, the upper hierarchy of Kaiser Chiefs, the management, the owners of the club, they need to develop a backbone. I don't think that they are backing their coaches the way they deserve to be backed, because every time the fans start making a noise, every time now the fans, they know what's the button to get a coach fired. Just cause violence at stadiums, and the Mudong family, they'll just start firing the coach. Because from the departure of Stuart Baxter in his first stint at Kaizer Chiefs, when he won, I think, back-to-back titles, and he left. From that time, none of the coaches who came in my opinion, deserved to be fired. There's a guy who came in from Italy, Solinas.
Giovanni Solinas,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, that one, we heard that players, there was no vote of confidence in him. So certain senior players spoke to the management that the guy. So I can't comment on that because we are not there to see, you know. But for me, none of those coaches deserve to be fired. From Steve Compella to Ernest Middendorp to Gavin Hunt. Well, I think the one
who deserved it.
yeah. And
say it.
Yeah. I don't want to come across as disrespectful, especially as an aspiring coach. But
Okay.
I think two, Coach Atazwan and Coach Ntegi, for me, they deserve to be fired.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because from Steve Compella, Ernest Middendorp, Gavin Hunt, I said I won't comment on Solinas. Who else was it? These three. Yeah, I think it's these three. They never, in my opinion, had the quality personnel to compete. You know, especially Coach Ernest Middendorp. It was a miracle what he did with the Kaizer Chiefs squad. And in my opinion, when you look at how they lost the league, you know, when results don't go the way you desire for them to go, as an owner of a club, you need to assess what the problem is. And when you look at that last match where Chiefs needed 3 points to win the league, for me, that was not a coaching problem that contributed to that. What else was Middendorf supposed to do? You know, but the hunger and the desire and the commitment of the players, it was questionable in that game. And what the Kaizer Chiefs do? They fired him. How do you fire someone for finishing second when you have not won anything for several years? You know, and again, I don't know what the disagreement was between them and Gavin Hunt, because Gavin Hunt was not fired; he resigned.
Oh yes,
you know, but there was a disagreement between him.
Yeah, until there was something that he wanted, I think 500 million to get.
I think 50.
50.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't.
Yeah, something like that. And you know, so Kaizer Chiefs, they need to start backing their coaches. And I heard a rumor that the current coach, Kevin Johnson. Yes, that he will stay on until the end of the season. He's a very experienced coach. He's won 3 in a row, so maybe he might try to audition for the job. And you know, but whatever they do, whether they give him a permanent contract, the Chiefs will need time.
Do you think Pito would welcome? Yeah,
hypothetically.
Yeah, that's for me. There's no better person than Coach Pito. You know.
Do you think he might take the job?
He's on record saying that he's willing to take the job. He's on record saying that he's available. Yeah, he said that he's available. You know, he's on record saying that.
Okay. Just to close this episode off, how do you think the log table is gonna look like at the end of the season? Number 1, number 2, number 3.
Yeah. Okay, I think let's start from number 2, because number 1 is a given. Number 1 is a given.
They are bottom jobs. Maybe they're gonna bottom the league this time.
No, that's close to impossible. I think number 2, SuperSport. Because of the experience of the coach they have, I think they'll take the second spot. I think number 3 will go to Cape Town City.
No, Pirates.
Pirates are too inconsistent for me, you know, and they seem like somehow they've been converted into a cup team. Yeah, that's where their speciality lies.
Yeah, I don't get that. You know, I don't get that. How can a team win cups and then they can't win the league? Like, they have fire when they're playing with cup competition.
The answer to that, it's easier to win cups than to win the league. You know, because you can have luck on 3-4 games. And then you're in a cup competition, and you're a champion. But in a league, you need to demonstrate consistency.
Okay. A cup competition like the UEFA, right? Remember when Liverpool won it with Stevie G? Liverpool were always shambles when it came to the league. And then when Even England, everyone named them like which are this team is is a cup team. They go into the UEFA, they play, they win the UEFA. And it's a long UEFA. You need to play group stages, you need to play round of 16, you need to play quarter and semi-finals. They win that. How can you do that?
Now, but in my opinion, as Coach Lungi has already said, you in cup competitions there is a higher degree or an element of luck that you require, or rather that you can have as compared to a league football. Because look at Manchester City, for example. In the recent years before, obviously, they won it finally. But you look at the manner in which they were eliminated from the competition. You look at Tottenham, there was a handball or a goal that Llorente scored, which was, in my opinion, highly questionable, but they were out. Look at during COVID, they lost to the French team, if I'm not mistaken, and it was
Monaco.
no, it was not Monaco.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
It
It
wasn't.
was it was not Monaco.
Yeah, but it wasn't Monaco.
Yeah.
Mm.
But the thing that I'm saying, you look at the elimination against Real Madrid the season before last. No one would have said Manchester City is not going to defeat Madrid, but it happened. But when you look at league football, the amount of games that you think, or rather that would not go your way, and they do, they are less than in cup competition.
And also, if you look at Man City now, I think they went 4 games in a row in the league without winning. But because of the nature of the league, they have enough time to make up for those points that they dropped. You know, but let's say in a cup competition, you can't go 4 games. So when you look at in the league, they have enough time to make up for those points. But if it was a cup competition, they'd most likely be out now.
Yeah, your opinion on top 3 in the DStv Premiership?
Now I do concur. Number 1 is already solidified, sealed. Let the cup be sent to a Glorco. Secondly, I'd also agree that SuperSport will come in second. Yeah, SuperSport will come in second. And then third, it's a close call. But Orlando Pirates third.
Did I mention my third?
You said
Cape
Town City.
Yeah, Cape Town City, not Spurs. Okay. Binaya are definitely Sundowns. Farmers League, obvious Sundowns. Number 2, I think it's gonna be Orlando Pirates. Honestly, think SuperSports are gonna drop the ball. Yeah, they're going to drop the ball. Number 3 is SuperSport. Yeah.
Okay. Any surprises that you've seen so far in the league? Any
player? I'd say player. Mufukeng. His development is so insane, man. Is too. For his age, he's performing on another level. Mufukeng, yeah, super impressed. We don't see a lot of players attacking midfielders. South Africa taking on shots out outside the box or playing 1-2 in front of the defenders and whistling their way through defenders and trying to get a goal. We don't see that. That element is no longer there in our football, and he's bringing it back. Umufukeng, I think, I didn't see that coming, and Allende forever consistent. That guy,
Nah, at this point, Allende is no longer surprised.
Yeah.
Fundis, any surprises from your end, coaching wise, teams, any players?
Yeah, team wise, it has to be Golden Arrows. The surprise is twofold. When the season started, they were up there where no one expected them to be up there. And, the surprise for me with Golden Arrows is, how many games have we're on week
15.
Week
most
15.
most have played 15.
14.
We're on week 15 in the PSL. And within that space of time, you have seen 2 Golden Arrows teams without there being a change in personnel, but we have seen two Golden Arrows teams. For me, that's mind-boggling because you had a team that was up there where they never expected to be when the season started, and then the very same team, while we are still on week 15, they've now gone I think 7 games in all competition and 6 in the PSL without a win. In fact, let me put it: 6 games, 6 straight defeats. And you begin to ask yourself, but
what happened?
What happened? Obviously, none of us expected them to end the season where they were in the beginning. But the drop is drastic. And so that
chalk and cheese.
Exactly. So that for me, in terms of a team, that's my surprise package. What's happening there? In fact, my shock package, because I'm shocked at what's happening there. Then I don't know why it's shocking me, because then the sentiments, the statements of the coach, goodness me. Maybe let's not go there.
Let's.
I will.
Let's try to avoid any controversy. Let's try to avoid any controversy. For me, I'd say my surprise has been Grant Majaman. For the level of output that he's been playing at, I'm surprised, Wuti, how did the Sundowns let him go? Because I think, in my opinion, he's been one of the best in terms of central midfielders in the league. So Grant Majaman has been a surprise for me.
It's hard to get into that Mamelodi Sundowns first 11. Maybe, maybe, just maybe.
So man, Bafetu, please do engage with us in the comment section. Share your surprise packages, share your title contenders, your possible play of the season, and please do like, subscribe, and share this content with your family. And from Pastor Lungi and ourselves, Fundis, bangakuthola kuphi abantu before we get into the next segment.
Now you can follow me on Facebook just under Coach Lungi, and also follow me on Instagram at Lungi Madonse.
All right, over and out, Bafit.
Danko.